How's it going, everybody? Episode 21 of the Alex Bromwich Presents vlog, and we had some awesome responses to yesterday's episode. Really appreciative of that. Thank you to everyone who liked us on LinkedIn and dropped us a comment and a share. Really appreciate that. Today I wanted to loop back to a topic which we touched on a little bit in a couple of weeks ago, and that's around strategy. We talked first about value creation and the definition of value, business value and pricing and what have you. And I said at that time that I would come back to strategy at some point, and I felt that now was a really good time to do that. So I want to start by talking from strategy from a real helicopter, satellite view of strategy, and then going all the way down. And I'll start out by saying that firstly, when it comes to strategy, I'm not a real expert. I studied it in my MBA. I enjoy the topic. I've read quite a lot of books about it. I've been involved in some strategy work, and it's always been very interesting. But there are people who know a lot more about it than I do, and there's some really good books that I'll recommend along the way in the series of when we do more podcasts, more episodes on this. And also, I have maybe not the most conventional view on what you should do with strategy, because I'm not a boil the ocean strategy sort of person. I think strategies need to be organic and principle led, and that's where I come from in these. And that sort of leads me right into the area where I want to start with talking about, which is about mission statements. I believe that companies should have visions and vision statements, but as I was taught in my MBA, there's a useful mission statement and then there's a relatively useless mission statement. And I've seen some examples of really terrible mission statements in my time, particularly in my MBA when we had to study a lot of different companies. For several of my projects, we used to have to download a lot of company literature, read through it all and make notes on it, and one of those was looking at the mission statements. The thesis being from our professor, and he got it from another professor, apologies, I don't know who was the origin of this thought, but the idea is that 90% of mission statements out there in the corporate world are crap, and that they mean absolutely nothing, and that by reading that mission statement you would have absolutely no idea about A, what that company is actually trying to sell, and B, what that company truly stands for and what the values are. So as two examples, and I'm sorry to pick on Konica Minolta, their mission statement is the creation of new value. But yeah, of course. Isn't that really what every company in the world stands for, and what they're really trying to do is to create new value? So it's not a very distinguishable mission statement. It's rather short. It tells me nothing about what their business is, what they're trying to achieve, what they stand for, other than that they stand for the creation of new value. And that, for me, should apply to pretty much every single company out there. So that's not what I would consider to be a very good mission statement. On the other hand, another mission statement from a company that I love their products, I love the way that they do their business. I'll be using them continually as a good example as to what I think is a good company and a good brand and a good example to try and base anything that you're trying to do out there with your company or your brand, and that's Patagonia. And I've got it written down. I'm going to read it because it's a little bit long. But their mission statement is: build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. That's Patagonia's mission statement straight off their website. And it tells us a lot more about Patagonia, right? We now know that Patagonia consider that there is an environmental crisis that needs inspiration and implementation of solutions against. So that's the first thing that tells us about them. They also want to build the best products, and they want to make sure that they cause no unnecessary harm whilst doing so. And now it might not say what type of products, but also you have to give yourself some leeway in a mission statement. It's a really, satellite view level of what's important to you as a company. But already from that, we can take out some key words that tell us what Patagonia value. Being the best, product orientated, not service orientated, no unnecessary harm, and inspire and implement solutions. So it's about real activity and inspiration towards what they believe is a real problem in the environmental crisis, which is quite a stark way to put it. So you can weigh those two against one another, and you can see that firstly, one is obviously has much more detail in it, tells us much more about what Patagonia is as a company. We don't get any sort of idea of Minolta from the creation of new value mission statement. And so I think that when you're looking at doing a mission statement, say you're in a startup phase or you've got your own company, I think you should have a mission statement. I think it should be specific to your company, and I think it should embody what the core values are that you want to have in the culture of your company and what you want as the framework for all decisions to be guided of in your company. So therefore you need to make sure that you embody that there and you have something that is specific but not drilled down to the level where you're going to have to keep reinventing your mission statement every quarter, every 6 months, every year, every 5 years. You want it to be there as a fully true guiding star to your company. So that's a quick view over mission statements. I would be really interested to hear from you who have your own companies and who have been involved in more of the startup space, the entrepreneurship space, and building and growing companies. What mission statements have you seen that you think is good? And also, if you work in the corporate world, if you're one of my Tetra Pak colleagues or something like that, what are some of the mission statements that you've seen out there that you thought were really good? And what are some examples of mission statements that you thought were maybe not so good, and why? So drop me a comment in the YouTube comments on Facebook or link in LinkedIn. Tell me what you think about these mission statements, what you think that could make a good or bad mission statement, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks.